Hey, Emma. We're back for day 8 of our journey through learning English. How's everything going on your end?
Hey, Zero. Everything's going great. I'm excited for today's topic. Form simple and correct sentences. Seems basic, but it's so important, right?
Absolutely. It's one of those things that can make a huge difference when you're speaking or writing. If you can form clear, simple sentences, you're already ahead of the game.
For sure. And the best part is, once you understand how to do that, you can build more complex sentences over time. But today, we're sticking with the basics, keeping it simple and making sure the sentences are correct.
Right. So, let's kick things off with what makes a sentence simple. To put it plainly, a simple sentence has a subject and a verb. That's it. For example, I run.
Exactly. I run is simple. It has a subject, I, and a verb, run. But we also want to make sure that our sentence makes sense, right? It can't just be any random words thrown together.
Yeah, a simple sentence has to have structure. It's not just about the parts, but how they fit together. So, another example could be, she sleeps. Subject, she, and verb, sleeps.
It's kind of like the building blocks of more complex sentences. You could add more detail later, but you need this basic structure down first.
Exactly. And when we're talking about correct, we're focusing on grammar. That means making sure we're using the right subject-verb agreement. For example, he go is incorrect. It should be he goes.
Ooh, the classic. It's easy to forget the zum verbs when we're speaking quickly, but in written English or formal speech, it's important to remember.
Right. So, here's a tip for forming correct sentences. Start with the subject. Who or what is the sentence about? Then add the verb. What's happening? Pauses for effect. Let's try it together. I'll start. The dog barks.
Oh, here's one. The sun rises. Short, but effective.
Yep, perfect. And it's not just about subject-verb agreement, though. We also want to think about punctuation. You know, those little marks that can change the whole meaning of a sentence.
Oh yeah, like, let's eat grandma versus let's eat grandma. Punctuation saves lives.
Exactly. So, in our simple sentence, we always need that period at the end. The dog barks. Pauses. Full stop.
Super important. If you don't have punctuation, people might not understand when your sentence ends or what you're trying to say.
Yeah, definitely. Now, let's say someone's learning English and they want to practice forming simple sentences. What would be some good exercises for them to try?
Well, one fun exercise is to pick a few random nouns and verbs and put them together into sentences. For example, cat and run. That's simple, right? The cat runs. Or if you're feeling a little adventurous, try combining more nouns and verbs like dog and eat. The dog eats.
That's a good exercise. It keeps it fun and spontaneous, but it also helps make sure you're getting used to the structure of a simple sentence.
Another way is to describe your day using simple sentences, like I woke up, I had breakfast, I went to work. It's a good way to practice basic sentence construction in real life.
Yeah, and it helps with fluency too. You don't have to go into huge detail. Just keep it simple. Another thing I like is practicing with questions, like, do you like coffee? Or, is she coming?
Questions are important because they follow a slightly different structure, but still keep it simple. What is your name? Or, where is he going? Are all just subject-verb, but with that twist.
That's a great point. Also, let's talk about negations for a second. How do we turn a simple sentence into a negative one?
That's easy. Just add not after the verb. So she runs becomes she does not run. Or you could use contractions. She doesn't run. Simple as that.
Yep. And don't forget, we can also use never, nothing, or no one for negation. But it still has to be simple. Like, I never run.
That's a perfect example. Simple, correct, and clear.
Okay, so before we wrap up, Let's recap a few tips for forming simple and correct sentences. First, make sure you have a subject and a verb. That's the foundation.
Second, don't forget about subject-verb agreement. For singular subjects, the verb usually gets an S, like he runs.
And lastly, make sure you're using punctuation correctly. A sentence without punctuation isn't really a sentence.
And that's it for today, folks. Keep practicing those simple sentences, and soon enough, they'll become second nature.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow with more language tips. See you then, Emma.
See you, Zero. And to everyone out there, keep it simple and keep practicing.